Greetings everyone, welcome aboard. My name is Joseph James. Welcome to our live trading recap. It's November 24th, 2010. Happy Wednesday to you. Final day of trading in this short trading week. Right? Happy holiday to you guys tomorrow. We got Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow, and then Friday we're closed. So remember guys, we're closed Thursday and Friday this week for the holiday. That means our beginners training is going to be postponed until next Friday. So this Friday's beginners training is canceled, postponed until next Friday, and of course we'll be right back in the trade room next Monday morning, right on schedule. All right, so Thursday, Friday closed. We took a number of big winning trades today, had another great day in the room. But I want to remind you guys, though, on our blog right now, right above me, there's a bunch of great stuff right above me here on the blog right now, guys. You've got trade room resources, you've got beginner's corner, you've got live webinars. All right, get to know this blog. You've got the search box below me. You've got, of course, live support there. And don't forget, always a wise decision, join our newsletter and follow the blog, right? Make sure you guys follow the blog. That way you get instant updates whenever anything new is added to our blog. If you can't follow the blog, the next best thing, right, down the bottom right corner of this blog, just the newsletter sign up form, join the newsletter. That way you get a newsletter email from us whenever we add a new video or an email for a trade call. All right, guys, so get to the blog. Lots of great stuff on the blog. And then don't forget, Friday's training is postponed until next Friday because of the holiday. Let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 trades today, guys. It was a busy day. We had lots of news this morning, right? Lots of news today. So we're constantly watching the clock, right? Using 8:30 news, 10 o'clock news, 10:30 news. As you can see, once again, though, those first couple trades of the morning were pretty slow and sluggish, right? 8:30, 8:40, 8:50. We really didn't get going until after the 9:30 alarm went off. Took a loss on gold, actually 2 losses on gold today, right? Losses will happen. That's okay though. Got to jump back in, right? Keep taking those trades, keep following those rules, right? Embracing the long-term ratios of your success, right? We know we're going to get 80% success rate. We know we're going to get 75% success. So you got to keep trading right through those stops, right? Took 2 stops on gold. You can see focused on gold and crude again. We had winners in the Russell today. We had winners on the Euro this morning. All right, guys, so you don't just need to trade crude and gold. Of course, I like these the best. These tend to have me, with the most profitable trades for me. But again, this method will work on anything you guys want to throw at it. 182, right? 4 contracts today, guys. 14 trades, 182 ticks, 1820. Now that 1820, that makes our weekly total now $7,100. We've got over $40,000 here now in the month of November. So we're having a great month. We expected this to be a pretty good month, right? We always know October, November, December, those are really the best 3 months out of the year. And of course, here in November, it's definitely not letting us down at all. So $7,000 this week. We did $14,000 last week, right? You can see huge month, $40,000 in November. We got 2 more days left in November and a yearly total of $224,000. We'll keep you guys posted, obviously, throughout the rest of the month. We're closed Thursday, Friday, and then reopen back on Monday for Monday, Tuesday next week. All right, so again, this was the end of a short week today. Lots of news today crammed into one trading day. Okay, we had news from Thursday and Friday that were brought into the Wednesday trading session. So 8:30 jobless claims and durable goods, right? We don't see that on Wednesdays. 10 o'clock, right, we had what? Consumer confidence. That's a Friday news report. 10:30, we had our crude oil inventories. Now that, of course, is we're used to seeing on Wednesdays. And then nat gas was at 12 o'clock. So we had a lot of news crammed into one day, which means it's really difficult for us to identify what those news releases are likely to do for the market. All right, now, if I just had jobless claims, I could analyze jobless claims. I could probably have a pretty good idea of where the price will go if jobless claims come out higher or if they come out lower than expected. But when you throw in jobless claims with durable goods, right, 2 very big news events, I now have a hard time understanding, right, as most people do, right, unless you have a team of analysts, right, it's tough to tell, right, what does dropping jobless claims and then dropping durable goods orders, right, what do those have in common? Okay, because they're exactly the opposite, right? Jobless claims dropping is good for the economy. Durable goods orders, right, dropping is bad for the economy. So we had, of course, good and bad for the USD this morning, and which made it difficult for us to be able to identify, okay, depending on what happens in the news, what to do next. So what do? We trade the reaction. right? We're not going to try to predict. I'm not going to try to predict what's going to happen when I have jobless claims and durable goods orders at 8:30. Just like I'm not going to predict what happens when I have crude oil inventories at 10:30 after seeing those mixed, right, news results at 8:30 and 10 o'clock. So it really had a big impact on our day today. Normally, right, higher inventories on crude, okay, will usually mean less demand. But this morning, crude jumps out the gate after 10:30 on higher than expected inventory, which should not mean, right, prices shouldn't go up, but they did. And again, this is that interwoven, right, mess of economic reports. And another reason why is day traders, we don't really work too hard at trying to predict. Because guys, it doesn't matter what I think, right? The only thing that matters is what the market thinks. So we don't trade what we want, we trade what the chart tells us. And so this morning, again, we couldn't feel very confident using news events as our direction for the rest of the day because we didn't know how these news events, right, all intertwining, were going to react to each other. So we traded patiently and we waited for the reaction, right? Now, we knew exactly what the reaction was after 10:30. And if you guys were with us this morning, I thought for sure that crude market was going to drop. In fact, I was real hesitant, if you guys remember, really hesitant to buy that breakout on crude because I said, what's going on here? This news makes no sense, right? Maybe it was the North Korean issue yesterday, right? Maybe it was the lackluster durable goods. Maybe it was a combination of both. I didn't know. All I knew was that the market was telling me you better be buying right now because you've got buyers, and lots of them coming. So we trade the reaction. Now, again, like you saw this morning, it took a little time for this market to kind of get going, right? Now, we knew that was going to happen. Okay, a day with all of these news events, you could pretty much guarantee people will be sitting on their hands until after they figured out what the news was going to do to the rest of the day. So the dollar took a while to break. We'll take a look at that in a second. But really, once that dollar broke the highs, it broke the lows first at 10:30, right? We bracket the dollar. When the dollar breaks the lows, that's when crude was breaking the upside. So dollar sellers, crude buyers. If you just waited for the dollar to move today, you skipped a lot of the junk early in the morning. So we talked about that in training today. In our members-only training, we talked about some easy ways that you can filter out the bad trades. One of which would be wait for the dollar to break, right? Rising ATR. What was the other one? Look for divergence, right? As you're leading, use your slower time frame divergence as your bias, right? So we talked about a bunch of different ways. One of those today was wait for that dollar to move. Okay, easy to see here because when you look at my dollar, right? Here's my dollar. Once we saw that dollar move, we saw the gold, the crude. After 10:30, crude was a big winner for us, but it took some time before that dollar began to move. Now, here's my dollar chart, speaking of which. Speak of the devil, right? Here's the dollar. Now, what do you notice? I notice on my dollar, I have that bullish channel again, right? Which, of course, is great for the USD, right? Bad for anybody who's long the gold right now. But, of course, dollar is rising right now. So here we are. We're at the highs on the dollar, right? At the highs on the dollar. So, of course, naturally, I expected to see price would want to drop, right? That was what I expected to see. We saw all this open space down here. And, of course, as you guys know, sideways ranges, wedge patterns, channel patterns, right? Buy the lows, sell the highs. Short the highs, cover at the lows. So we expected to see the dollar here. I expected to see it come down a little bit and drop. Now, it did do that, and it did that at 10:30. Right? When the dollar broke the lows at 10:30, we were also waiting for what? Crude oil inventories. Okay, dollar dropping. What do you think we're doing crude? We want to be a buyer. So dollar broke the lows. It actually ended up bouncing off the lows and then hitting the highs again. Okay, but that was the original catalyst. So if you marked the highs and marked the lows in the dollar, you would have marked the lows right here. Right? That would have been your low right there, and there's your high. So what I'll do is I'll wait for price to break below here on the dollar, right? That would tell me to be a buyer, right? Dollar dropping. Okay, so what would be a great scenario would be if I saw the dollar break these lows. Meanwhile, I saw the crude or the gold or the euro at support, right? Buy that support. This would be a great correlation trade.